All right, yeah, so let's talk about Zipman first by Yusaku Shibata, who, for those who don't know, apparently is, or I guess was an assistant to not only Kohei Horikoshi, but Eiichiro Oda as well, actually. I actually remember, just before we even get into Zipman, I was looking into Shibata's other stuff, and I totally remember, I've actually read at least one series from Shibata that I think ran in, I don't remember what magazine it ran in. It was either in Jump Giga or whatever, like, was the equivalent of Jump Giga before then, called Flowers of the Sahara. I think that's what the series was called. I think it ran for like 4 chapters. I read it online like years and years ago, mostly because, hey, this was somebody who worked with Oda. I was interested in reading and checking it out. And from what I remember, like, it looked really nice. Like, I really enjoyed the art. And I thought the story was pretty okay, too. Again, like, I thought overall it was, for how short it was and how much they were able to cover in such a short time, it was pretty enjoyable. I don't think it's licensed, unfortunately, but if it was, I'd check it out. I'd buy it. But, yeah, just kind of moving on to Zipman here in particular. So, Zipman is a superhero story about, our protagonist, Kaname Tatara, whose loving obsession with tokusatsu hero Jackman drives him to be someone who can make people smile, but is constantly overshadowed by his smarter and technologically savvier twin brother Koshiro Tatara, whose many inventions will go on to make the world a better place even after his recent passing. But in a strange twist, Koshiro's consciousness has been fused into a super suit, which Kaname now has to use to fight bad guys in secret, while Koshiro investigates who did this to him and why. And that's essentially the basic premise of Zipman. I totally didn't write that myself. But yeah, no, at the time of this recording, the first 2 chapters are out, and I think I mentioned it last time on the podcast because I had just happened to read the first chapter. I thought this was pretty enjoyable. Like, I like the idea of a tokusatsu-esque superhero manga running in Jump. I think, I'm not gonna say that's not something Jump has never had before, because I don't think that would be true. But, I mean, as far as I can remember, I don't think I've read anything like that in Jump before, just personally speaking, so I'm pretty excited for it and to see where it goes. Lum, I don't think you had read the first chapter back when we recorded that last episode, so I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on this so far.
I think that the art is very strong. I feel like the main character's design is basically Tetsu from My Hero Academia, and then the power structure is like the Funk Brothers from One Piece, in terms of one brother is wearing the other brother like a suit.
Oh, Jesus, that's right.
So it definitely has channeled his inspirations and influences from his previous experiences being an assistant for Horikoshi and Oda, and that definitely shows. And I definitely think that the tone, the feeling of the manga is very My Hero Academia-esque, and I do think that the focus on tokusatsu heroes over Western superheroes like MHA definitely makes it stand out, where hero manga might be a crowded kind of field because you already have MHA and One Punch Man, but then this is focusing on just a different enough kind of hero to be a little standout. I certainly appreciate the kind of robotic monsters, and you can definitely tell that they are influenced by tokusatsu series. I remember seeing a tweet going around kind of pointing out that the antagonist robot fought in like the first chapter was a very intentional homage to a similar design in a actual tokusatsu series that I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's like very, very obviously referencing that design. And I appreciated the magical girl tokusatsu robot in the second chapter that they fight. That is also pretty neat. I think the action foundation is very strong. I think that the art, the action is very well communicated. Very exciting. There's some cool, ridiculous stuff. I love in the second chapter where the assistant basically drives the truck off a statue to ramp it up in the air so that she can throw the brother out so that they can collide and become Jackman and whatnot. That was pretty cool. I feel like the central conceit is a little... that took a while for me to really grasp, and I don't know if I'm super into the relationship between the brothers, and the foundation of that is that they're basically all obsessed with competing over the affections of the female protagonist. And I think it's very weird sentiments they have, as where Kaname is like, it sucks you die because now I can't make her smile anymore. It's like kind of weird priorities. And I also feel like we see in the second chapter that Koshiro, in the dog man suit, he can like walk and move around. So I think that's kind of a little less interesting than if like he needed Kaname to be in the suit to even move. But I understand like why he needs to be in the suit so like they can actually turn to Jackman and fight. But I think that it would be like even more interesting if he couldn't move being inside the suit at all. And that explores some even more interesting existential questions there. I mean, it's definitely interesting, the question why he's in the suit to begin with. But I'm not totally in love with the relationships between the characters, between the brothers. Like the fact that they're so competitive over the affections, over the female protagonist. And then those skewed priorities. And I don't think I find it that interesting that he's so invested with this idea of being like Jackman and being a hero for that goal. So I do think that the action and the art foundation is strong. Not in love with the characters and the relations between them, but we can see how it evolves as time goes on. It's certainly, in terms of like a big and sweeping emotional hook, this is not nearly as strong as My Hero Academia. And definitely not nearly as strong as some other like first chapters of Jump series, or where they really lay an emotional foundation that you can really grasp and get behind. But we'll see.
Yeah, I do agree that I didn't think the first chapter was like anything particularly like groundbreaking, but you know, it's so far I think it's fun. Like I'm always up for some tokusatsu shenanigans. Like, you know, I like that kind of stuff in particular personally. So this is very welcome for me in particular. But yeah, I don't know. We'll also have to see how the relationship and the dynamic between our cast kind of develops, because again, we only have 2 chapters to go off of so far. So we'll have to see